Hey there everyone, it's Kelly with Kellyscards.ca and welcome to this video. So I've been wanting to shoot this video for a while. I've had my grandma in and out of the hospital and kids not feeling good, but finally everything seems to be settling down. Grandma's okay and the kids are all feeling better, so I am ready to do this video. I've been wanting to do playing around with the Distress Oxide, so I'm just going to bring in, this is a non-stick craft sheet and I like to do my inking on here so I don't get ink everywhere else. And this one I bought at a store a long time ago. It's just a simple white one. It's not like the Tim Holtz one. I like it because it is white and I really like the size of this. So this is what I'm going to use today, and I'm just going to show you a couple of the samples I have done before this video, and I'm going to show how to do it today. So this one here is using the Distress Oxides, and then what I've done is I've stamped with water, and then after I stamped with water I also add a little bit of a pearlized effect using this here. This is the Imagine Sheer Shimmer Craft Spray in the Sparkle, and really like this stuff. It's got a little bit, it's kind of, I guess it's kind of silvery a little bit, and but still the white tones, so you can see how that looks. I did this one here also with a stamp, and this one was from the Simon Says Stamp Emma background. Really like that one. I've also done some backgrounds with stencils. This one here was inked up first, and then I laid the stencil over top, and then I sprayed on top, and you get this really cool effect. So I'm going to show you how I did that today. So I'm going to bring in these Distress Oxide. I've got Peacock Feathers, Cracked Pistachio, and Salty Ocean, and those are the ones that I am going to use. So I have my little storage sheet, which I have a video on, and I use this to store all of these little foam pads so that they're all in the same spot, easy to see, and they're not going to mess things up. It's really easy to just pull off these little foam things, and now I am pretty much ready to go. For this, I like to use this Nina Solar White, and this is the 80-pound cardstock. And I really like this paper because it's pretty good for blending, and I find that it blends really super smooth and well. So that is the paper that I'm going to use. So I'm going to come out from the outside and start blending into the inside here. And again, this one here is the peacock colors, and I'm doing kind of a diagonal with this one here. And I think what I'll do is I'll do the blue in the middle. So I'm just going to go around in circles there, and again I'm going to come in from that side, and I'm just going to do some circles all the way across, and then as you completely go back and forth, things are going to start to blend in really nice. So again, I'm going to just go back and forth, and when you're going through the colors you can just lightly kind of feather to blend those two tones together. It's going to kind of create another shade, but it will look like it just keeps going from one color to the other. And I really like how that looks. And I'd like to do a little bit more of the blue here and make the blue a bigger section. So I'm just going to keep blending in the ink, and I'm just going to flip this around so I can come from the outside. We don't want to get a big patch of blue. It's harder to blend if you just kind of come in from the middle. So I like to come in from the outside and just sweep the color all the way across. So now that I've done that color, I'm going to do the lighter shade here. And this one here is the Cracked Pistachio. I like this color. It's light and it matches very well with the other colors. It's going to look good. Going to come in now. When I try to blend these together, it'll be a little bit more into the blue and the feathering, and you can actually come back out with the blue just to make it a little bit nicer. So I can bring in this blue, not add any ink to it, but just come across in that area just to kind of blend it a little bit more better there. Now that is finished, we can choose what we're doing. So I picked a couple stencils and a couple stamps, which I really liked. This one here is Simon Says stamp, and this is the diagonal stencil. I really like the look that this makes. As you can see by my sample, that's the one I used here. And I also have this circular lace. This is also from Simon Says stamp. This is another stencil. And then this one here is also from Simon Says stamp. This is the Emma background stamp, and I really like how pretty that is. And then another one here, this is from Hero Arts, and this is the bold prints. And I really like this one here as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to use the Emma background here. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a mini mister or some kind of a spritzer, and we don't want to get this dripping wet. We're going to spray over top of this stamp. So we're just going to lightly spray up above here, and again getting a little bit on there, and then we are going to position our paper and we are going to bring the stamp in. So I'm just going to bring it in like this, cover it, and now I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to apply some pressure and I'm going to hold on to it so that that water reacts with the ink. And when it reacts with the ink, it's going to lighten up those spots. We have a couple choices. We can either set it aside to dry, or you can use your heat tool. I like to set it aside because then you don't get any warping. And when we pull it off, look at this. This is beautiful, and it wasn't that much work to get it to be this beautiful. So I really like that. I'm going to set this one aside to dry, and we'll check it out after I've done the rest of them. So now we're going to go on to the second one here. For this next one, I'm ready. I picked out spiced marmalade, fossilized amber, and squeezed lemonade. I thought the colors went well together, and I'm going to basically bring them in and do kind of patches here and there. We're going to use this stencil now, and we'll do the technique with this stencil. I'm just going to line it straight to the top, and I'm using the tape. I've got tape along there to help keep it straight and not move as we do the technique. So I'm just going to make sure this is completely lined up before we start, and I'm just going to start spraying the water. After I've sprayed enough of the water, I take a doubled up paper towel, and what I'm going to do is just hold it here so that the stencil will be pushed down and the water can't go underneath, and then we'll dry the excess water that is laying on top of the stencil. And when we pull it off, we'll see that stripe from the stencil. So we'll pull this off, we'll pull that off, and now we can see how interesting that looks. If we would have used the shimmer spray, then it would have all been shimmery, but you can still see it's quite similar to this one, but you can actually see the shimmer off this one. This one, you see the stripes, but there's no shimmer. So if you don't want the excess shimmer, then you don't have to use a shimmer spray. You can also mix up some Perfect Pearls with some water and spray it, and that will also give you a shimmer. This is a pretty cool product. I really like this one here. Nothing has got clogged, and I really like this one. On to another sample. I've picked out Salty Ocean, Faded Jeans, and Wilted Violet. I really like these colors and tones together. So that one is done as well. I'm going to use this Hero Art stamp now. These are the bold prints with their circles. And for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm thinking for this background, it kind of looks a little bit galaxy-like. So I'm going to spray it with this shimmer spray. And again, I don't want to spray too much. You just want to lightly spray it so that it is a little bit wet. And that should be enough. And now I'm going to pull this in here and I'm going to get it down nice. And again, I'm going to hold this and I'm going to let the stamp do the work. So I've held that for a little bit and now I'm going to pull this off. And you can see the slight circles in there. And again, when this dries, these are going to lighten up even more. And the sample I have, I'll show you the sample I have. Look how much it lightened up. So I'm going to set this one aside to dry and we will finish the last one. For the last one, I'm going to do some pinks and reds. I have worn lipstick, picked raspberry, and abandoned coral. And I think these colors will also go well together and be able to be blended fairly nice. So I'm going to start out with the worn lipstick. And now we will bring in our stencil here. I really like having the pattern mostly in the center so that any excess I can just cut off or I can die cut with the patterns. I'll show you a couple cards that I did with some of the other ones and I really liked how it turned out. I've got this tacked down with a little bit of this tape and now I'm going to bring in my mini mister again. And I'm gonna have my paper towel ready to cover it up. So I'm gonna get spraying here, and again, I'm not spraying too much, and then immediately I'm going to put the towel on top, and I'm not gonna move it, I'm just gonna press down. Now I'm going to pull this off, and I will pull this off, and this is pretty spectacular. It looks really great. I'm going to grab my heat tool now and we'll heat this up so we can see how much more it lightens up. I'm not going to fully dry it because I don't want the paper to warp. So I can show you now how it looks and you can see how much different it looks now that we've used the heat tool and things are a lot more dry. You can see what a difference that makes and look how pretty that is. And I just love that look by simply using water and a stencil. We'll bring them all back in and take a look and you can see quite a difference there now that it's all dry. And you can see this was the stamp, the Emma stamp from Simon Says Stamp. Really like how that looks. And for this one, we use the Simon Says Stamp Diagonal Stripes Stencil. Really love how that looks. And then of course, this one here we just did. And love that with that circular lace stencil from Simon Says Stamp. And this one here, it hasn't lightened up as much as the other one I did with these bold prints, but this is from Hero Arts, and this is the bold prints circles background stamp. Really love all of these, and it's kind of fun to make all kinds of different backgrounds. So I'm just gonna quickly show you a couple cards that I made. There's this one here that I made where I did a double die cutting. This is actually a doily, but what I did was I only die cutted half of it and then I die cutted half on the bottom. But as you can see, there is the background that is very similar to what we did today. I did it with pink and purple, and then I did the stencil with the Simon Says Stamp diagonal stencil. So I did that card there, and I really love this card here. This is the background that I made with, again, the Distress Oxides, and then I used the circular lace from Simon Says Stamp stencil on top, and I did the same technique, and then I just added it to some foam, added some sequences. I did a little bit of a background stamp and splatter effect. I really like these colors and how this one came together. So I hope you enjoyed this video on how to use water with your Distress Oxide inks to create some beautiful backgrounds. Again, there's so many stamps and stencils that you can use, and really stencils are so inexpensive that you can have quite a few of them and have something different all the time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You can check me out on my webpage at Kellyscards.ca. You can subscribe for more videos, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.